What you're going to see here are a series of clips of organized stalking, organized harassment going on in Japan. And the subject of the harassment, the person being targeted, is recording these incidents. And the first one you'll see, he's in some sort of a fast food place. And of course, the police just happen to show up in there. And you'll notice that they use almost identical tactics all around different areas of the world. So there's a protocol. They train the police to utilize these tactics against people who they're targeting in this way. And so you'll see they come into the restaurant. They're in the restaurant where he is, and one of the police officers notices that he's got some sort of recording device. So they both go and try to make it casual and then kind of stand behind him to intimidate him more and make him feel, pressure for doing that, for recording it. And so you'll notice in this series of clips, though, the tactics that they use are the same, exactly the same as in Canada, the UK, pretty much worldwide. And so this is a worldwide system, and they train people for these things. And again, what they're doing here with the police is it's meant to be very noticeable to him. He is meant to feel threatened and intimidated wherever he goes, but it's not meant to stand out to anyone who's around who might not be aware that these things are happening. So these are the exact same methods, these Zersetzung methods, that go all the way back to the East German Stasi, but now, of course, they're much more powerful with the technology that they have to be able to trace where everyone is at all times. Yeah, you'll see here he's in some sort of a fast food place. The police come in there, and one of them recognizes that he's recording, or maybe he has, I don't know whether he has a GoPro or some sort of recording device. And so they stand right behind him, and they try to make it casual so that other people, they don't want it to look like they're there just to intimidate the guy, but they want him to see that that's why they're there. So it's meant to specifically be noticeable to the target, that they are on watch, that they are being essentially harassed everywhere they go in a subtle way. And so the police are used in Japan in exactly the same way they're used in Canada, the United States, the UK. Anyway, we'll just take a look at these clips here, and you can see the similarities with the organized harassment program and how it's pretty much exactly the same there. You'll see that it's basically identical with the methods that they use as it is in all of these other countries. So this is essentially a worldwide program where they use these exact same methods, and these people are trained in these techniques, and they're trained in these gaslighting and inversion techniques. They want to make it very specifically known to the subject of the harassment that it's purposeful and that it's being done intentionally wherever they go, but they don't want it to stand out to others who are around who are not a part of it and who don't know that this is going on. They don't want them to understand that this is essentially an orchestrated harassment campaign. So we'll take a look at this series of clips here, and you'll see the striking similarities between how they operate there and how they operate here in Canada and worldwide.
あんまり撮影するのやめてください。何かわかんないけど、何のために撮影されてるかわかんないけど、あんまり撮っちゃダメですよ。ね。いや、今切ってください。何のために撮影されてるかわかんないけど、ね、来てくださいね。
As you can see, it is exactly the same methods that they use as here and all across various areas in the United States and the UK and Australia and many other places. The police are told to make it look natural, make it put forth this whole act that they're just there randomly, but you could tell it was intentional because he's there. And when they noticed that he was filming, the two officers got really close and went right up behind him. And obviously that was to intentionally kind of intimidate and make him feel really uncomfortable. And then just before they exit, one of the officers went up to him and obviously said something about the fact that he was recording. I don't know what was said there, but it was obviously something pertaining to the fact that the officers had noticed him recording them. And the guy, obviously the subject of the harassment, obviously knows very well why they were there. He's very aware of it, and it's meant to make the subject of the harassment be aware. You're supposed to know that it's intentional intimidation, but the cops also don't want it to stand out too much to others. That's why the officer said it kind of quietly to him, said something about filming there. But you could see it's very clear they showed up there to purposefully intimidate him, and you'll see in some of these other clips here again, wherever this guy goes, they're having police and security people show up. Exact same methods as they use here in Canada.
でもトム君はいないの。
Police car appear. Police car appear. Driver go. Gang stop. Tokyo.